Hi there, everyone. Hi there, hi there, hi there, everyone. Just wanted to stop by for a second. Number one, I'd like to say thank you so very much for joining me this evening. This is the evening drive home with NJ Evans. And the purpose of this particular conversation is because I wanted to see whether or not you were abreast of some of the things that have been taking place. I mean, there's some real strange stuff that's going on right now, and I wanted to share some of it with you. And one of the reasons for that is because it reminds me of something that has happened many, many years ago. So to begin with, for those of you who don't know me, and do forgive my voice because my voice is fluctuating because of allergies, they say. I'm just really coming back to something that's something like a quasi interpretation of the way I sound. But anyway, I've been a journalist for many, many years. As a matter of fact, I've been an international journalist reaching 60 countries and 135 stations and 1.3 million people or listeners. And I was always fascinated with this industry, news department, not hard news, not that kind of news, stuff that tells stories about other people's lives and things that we can benefit from that. Tonight, this evening, on your drive home, what I wanted to do was just have a conversation about a woman who has made the news, at least the media news on the social medias. And this young attorney, her name is MARILYN MOSBY. I'm watching her this evening on Anthony O'Neill's show called, I think he's called The Table. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I'll get back and let you know what that is. He had the courage to let this young lady come on and speak her truth. What's going on with her? She's a woman of color. She's an attorney. Her life is in a discord and an upset and an upheaval because of her following her truth, her path as an attorney. And that seems to have caused a lot of friction to all those that are watching this new star as she lights up the universe. I would like for you to take the time to actually review and have your own opinion about what's going on here and whether or not you think you should participate and assist her in whatever her plea is. Her plea is that she has a family. She just lost her husband, not because he died, but because of the stress of this whole event that is going on. And it's been more than 2 years because it started way before that. And she needed the support, and whatever it happened, it happened. But they're being judged in the public's eye. And you know how opinionated the public is. And they have two teenage daughters. That's going to be very impactful on them for a long, 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 long time. But the thing that I wanted to do, as far as you're concerned, for those few of you that know me or listen to some of my stuff, is to say, just take the time and help this young lady by listening to what Anthony is saying and the Breakfast Club and some of the others, and you decide whether or not on May the 23rd, 2024, that this young lady should be in prison for 40 years for whatever the the alleged allegations are against her at this particular point in time. It's supposed to be the truth behind her retirement account withdrawals. I don't know, guys. You know, we can create things out of thin air. That's our ability. But I think we should be a little bit more on the honest side with why we're creating things out of thin air. I wanted to explain also the reason why I found this particular topic to be of interest to me. And the reason is because many, many years ago, I watched a lady lose her reputation, lose everything that she had. And she was a prosperous woman of color, very, very vocal in the community. She was the CEO of a magazine and also of a business. And then she was also a former high profile city councilwoman. And she had the kind of clout that the president of the United States would come by and have lunch at her house. This was a very important woman of color. But instead of her just having a real easy life, Instead, by the time I meet her, they were celebrating her husband's birthday, and he had just transitioned maybe a year prior to all of this. So everybody's still feeling the lamentation, the hurt and the emotionalism of not having her husband, not having the family unit the way they usually do. I felt quite honored being invited to such an event at her home. And her son came and he looked inebriated, but that wasn't my concern. My concern was, to participate in what was going on and let them have their private affairs by themselves. Well, it just so happened that their private affair in the driveway of her house, the next door neighbor was looking and so intrigued by their conversation that they decided that, well, this particular woman decided that she was going to participate. Now, how was she going to participate? In a very negative way. She's putting herself in the middle of something that she knows nothing of, but it was enough to destroy another person. Now, I don't know about you, but I was raised in an era where a parent would say to a child, if you don't get your act together, I'll take you out of here just like I brought you in here. That was common many, many thousands of years ago, you could say. But this woman decided to take it to the next level and report this former city council member. And in so doing, what did that create? That created one heck of a challenge because now she was leaving the party or leaving her house in handcuffs. That's a certain degree of humiliation. And she was going to jail and she had to sit in the pen. And then she was arraigned. I think they had an arraignment for her maybe the next day or the day after that. But anyway, I went. I'm a journalist. So I sat in the back and I arrived there during lunchtime. And I was listening to the DA and the prosecutor and all the lawyers, and they gathered together, and no one looked like her. No one looked like her. And it kind of reminds me of King of Kings, where you see the soldiers have his robe on the ground and they're shooting dice. That's what it felt like from the back as I watched them. Because I said to myself, I said, I'm not a lawyer, but I know she's not going to get a fair trial. And she didn't. She lost everything and had to serve time. I mean, she lost everything, and had to serve time based on a next door neighbor minding her business, meaning the city council member, former city council member's business. I found that to be incredible. So that resonates in my mind as I'm listening to this young attorney. Now, it wasn't the same story, but it was the same story. Somebody was determined to bring her down to her knees. Somebody's determined to bring this attorney down to her knees. And for what reason? For what reason? I left Cali and maybe I returned for a visit 5 years later and I asked about her. And when I say Cali, I'm talking about California. I left there. And when I returned, I asked about Cali. And they said to me that she was homeless. She had a little brown shopping bag. She doesn't speak to anybody. She just walks up and down the streets of Sacramento, California. They broke her. And she didn't have any male support. Her husband had died. She was on her own. I wish that those who have the ability to see and those who have the ability to stand and those who have something to say take a real good look at what's happening with this young lady, this attorney, and see what's the real reason for it going on. And if you feel that what's happening with her should be brought to the next level, then join some of the organizations, if that be your desire, to assist her in having a reprieve. I don't know. Like I said a minute ago, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the journal jargon is, and I'm not really on that page. But the page I am on is that she shouldn't be treated unfairly. I don't think she should. Okay. So what can be done? And those young kids, those young children, what are they experiencing? The emotional turmoil to watch their mother and father being castrated and dragged through the mud of the media. I work with the media for a long time. I know how the media can be. Okay. And that's the reason why I decided to bring this story and explain to you that my reason for bringing this story is because of Callie, the person that I met in Sacramento, California, and what had happened to her. So without any further ado, the young person's name is the producer host of the show. His name is Anthony O'Neill. This particular show that he did, this segment is called Attorney MARILYN MOSBY is facing 40 years in jail. The truth behind her retirement account withdrawal. And this is the table with Anthony O'Neill. This is a Maryland attorney. So when you have an opportunity, take a look. May 23rd, she will be brought before the powers that be. I wish her love and light. I wish her family much success. Much success on their journey. Thank you so much for joining me. Next time I'm on the air with you, and I don't know if you noticed, but the voice is not really there. But that's okay, because I decided to walk through the voice with it cracking and breaking and doing all the things that it's doing. And I can't believe that this is basically just an allergy. I don't believe that. But then again, who am I to say? But I wanted to say to you, remember to create the reality that you truly do desire, and not one that you don't. Watch what you focus on, because that's going to be the key. Wishing you much love and light. Get home safely. Hug those that you love dearly and support them to the best of your ability. Ciao, everyone. I'm NJ Evans.